let's get over to Andrew Cuomo. I know we're both really big fans of his, and
I bought 10 copies of his book, so I could give it to all my friends.
I bought his album.
Did you buy it? I'm waiting. I'm very excited for season 2 of Cuomo and the COVID. Really, they ended it on a cliffhanger, and I'm really excited to see how he's going to come out of this.
Well, here's a follow-up. He said this recently because he's a really classy guy. He finally came out about all of his accusers. Cuomo says accusers want attention in first press conference in months. What a guy! What a great guy. Governor Cuomo, he finally comes into the public spotlight, fended off a barrage of questions about his mounting scandals. Woman after woman after woman accusing him. I think it's up to 9, I believe, who have accused him of inappropriate behavior. But here's what he has to say. He's defiantly insisting he has done nothing wrong and saying some of his accusers just want attention. And wait, get this, they're jealous. What a classy guy. What a guy. I guess of how cool he is. I don't know what they're jealous of. Maybe they're jealous that he had a silver spoon completely. Yeah. Because daddy handed him and his Fredo brother everything. And all that both of them had to do was not take the silver spoon and shove it up their ass. And both of them, I guess because they were both weak sperms, couldn't pull that off. Both of them shoved the spoon right up their assholes. Fredo and the elder Fredo. They both freaking did it. I mean, what a...
He's just... I love... I mean, his apology when it came out was one of those, like... I'm sorry you feel that way. Like, it was that version of the apology. Well, and it's like, that's not really an apology. Like, you're not apologizing for anything. Like, and he basically came out and be like, look, I hug people, I kiss people. That's what I do. I was in Queens the other day and I looked at this broad and I was like, hey, come here, you plant one on my face. Like, it was just
That's
ridiculous.
Basically what he said. Well, I think somebody in the chat mentioned this. Now, I have not heard this, but maybe you have. Did he say, hey, I'm Italian? Did that happen? Do you know?
I don't know, but I wouldn't put it past him, because one of the press conferences he did, he literally spent like 3 minutes reciting what day of the week it was.
I wouldn't put it past him either. I can't say if that's for sure. Now, I'm scrolling through this article to see if it. No, he's saying that they were just jokes. That the one woman says that he was saying how he's open to sex with other people and he's sexually frustrated at home. Those were just jokes. Those were just jokes he was making. That's a really funny. I mean, that's hilarious. Like, don't you wish you wrote that? Don't you wish? Yeah. I mean, think of that's such a funny joke. Imagine just walking on stage, be like, hey, I'm not. My wife is. I'm not getting it at home, and I'm open to sex with other people. They'd be like, that's hysterical. Who saw that punchline coming? I mean, I thought jokes had a setup in a punchline. That sounds more just like a statement, but hilarious. Like,
my merch is just naked postcards of myself. That's my merch. come say hi, get a naked
and then it
portrait.
says, move over, Anthony Weiner.
Oh man, yeah, I completely forgot about that guy.
That guy.
But I mean, how everything he's doing is just like out of the New York royalty playbook of like, well, nobody say anything bad about me. Like, of course we're gonna say everything bad about you. You're a sociopath. Like, Here,
wait, like, check out this part, dude. The controversy is just more of the ugly politics at the time. That's what Cuomo said. And he blamed President Trump, among others, for making it a very big issue. He blamed Trump for it. Somehow it's Trump's fault. As for allegations, he forced staffers to work on his pandemic memoir. Cuomo denied that too. People volunteered to work on the book. The governor's Cuomo comments were blasted by the lawyer for Charlotte Bennett, a 25-year-old ex-aide who accused the governor of sexual misconduct. Bennett says the governor asked her inappropriate personal questions. Those were just the punchlines were there. She just missed them. Told her he was open to having a relationship with a woman in her 20s. Lucky her. Doesn't that just make you? Weren't you just wondering? Like, I wonder how low this guy would go age-wise. I need to know. And left her with the feeling he wanted to sleep with her. What a guy. Wow. And he's just, and look, hey, I'm all for due process. Usually when there's smoke, there's fire. This guy has 9 accusations. But to go say that people just want attention, I mean, this guy thinks he's untouchable.
But isn't that
maybe because he has his brother? No shit, right? Well, dude,
like, this is conservative rhetoric going around any sort of like sexual misconduct accusations.
Well,
like,
and hey, I was just going to add, based on what you're saying, like, look, Donald Trump is disgusting, but just saying, imagine if Donald Trump said that. How the press would react if Donald Trump said that. Imagine how Blue MAGA would react. And by the way, rightfully so. That's a horrible thing to say. But Cuomo says it. It's somehow not a problem.
Yeah, Alyssa Milano would have a thread on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, about Cuomo. Absolutely she would. Or excuse me, about Trump. Absolutely. Trump, yeah. Cuomo, she's silent. She doesn't even have Me Too in her bio anymore ever since Biden. Which, by the way, Joe Biden... Joe Biden actually had a better... I mean, when Joe Biden was accused, he even said, well, people deserve to be heard. Even Joe Biden had a more diplomatic response than Andrew Cuomo. Even Joe... Which, by the way, I love... if any... Now, this doesn't happen to me often, but if a Biden stan ever gets on my case because I didn't vote for him, I always have the response of like, hey... I'm just doing what your king told me. Your king told me that if I believe Tara Reid, I shouldn't vote for him. I believe Tara Reid, so I didn't. I'm just doing what your king told me. If you have problems, you have to take it up with your king. I'm just following instructions. Go see your king. Say Ronald Placone was following your advice when he did not voteth for thou.
But
by the way, it's springtime in Pittsburgh because there are birds having a field day outside of Chris's window.
Yeah, they're going crazy. They're loving it.
You gotta enjoy.
They're very excited.
Is it sunny today? Is it nice out in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, there is some sun. It might rain later. It's in the 70s. I love it. And those birds, by the way, also think Andrew Cuomo is a piece of shit.
That's what they're saying.
That's the conversation
they want their voices to be heard.
Like, how is this guy the governor of a state? This is crazy.
Beautiful. Yeah. So that's going on with him.
Well, they kind of got rid of his story though. Like you don't really see a lot of Democrats coming out and really talking about Cuomo in either justifying what he's doing or kind of putting it down. Like they just wanted to sweep.
They just wanted him to wait it out.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. They wanted him to wait it out, which, by the way, it was working for him because you have a complicit media, and so it was working for him. But then he finally opens his mouth again, and he's like, "They just want attention." It's like his PR person is probably shitting their pants right now. Like, really, dude? That's what you? Why did you again? Just don't. Here's a silver spoon, Andrew. Just don't shove it up your ass. And he's like, does it go here? Does it go? No, Andrew, that's your asshole. You're shoving it up your ass again. You're not supposed to do.
Not supposed to.
I just can't. So I mean, come on. I'm sure this guy. And again, I think he's guilty of. I'm sure. I believe he's guilty of everything. Everyone deserves due process, so have at it. I think he's guilty. I think he should just straight up resign. I think Matt Gaetz is guilty. I think he should just straight up resign. But let people have their due process. Everyone deserves due process. Have at it. But man, he sure doesn't feel any remorse for anything.
Yeah, none of what he's doing or saying is what an innocent person would do. Like, everything he's saying is basically like what it's like a smear campaign of for a guilty person. Like, you're like, oh, don't look into it because you might find out what the truth is. But these people are just looking for attention. It's like, what? What are you talking about? And again, it just blurs the line because these are conservative talking points. like we heard, how many times did we hear like, oh, you know, these people are just looking for attention when the Brett Kavanaugh hearings were going on. Like, it's the same thing. And you don't hear any Democrats coming out and being like, gee, this is just terrible fucking, like, this is terrible PR. And nobody's kind of distancing themselves from Cuomo or anything. Like, they're just kind of being quiet and hoping that it goes away. Just like they were trying to do with Biden after he gave, what was it, on MSNBC or something? He made that statement. And then it was just like, let's just stay quiet about this and it'll just go away. And, you know, it is up to people like us and real journalists to cover this stuff and continue to let people know, hey, Andrew Cuomo is kind of a huge piece of shit. So,
well, here's the thing, man. And again, like, I'm not a jury or a judge. I'm just giving my take on it, what I think is likely the case. But usually when there are false accusations against somebody, which happens, of course, that's part of the world, that does happen. But usually when it does, the person has a certain amount of pain that they're feeling. There's a certain amount of because it's an attack on their character that's not true. And they have their side of it that is very thorough because they're taken aback by the accusation. They have their side of it. And, you know, and then of course, like, hopefully they get due process.
right.
In this case, he doesn't have any of that. He's not showing any type of like he's really taken aback by this. Instead, he's just being dismissive. He has no real substantive like, no, this is what's really going down. Instead, it's just like, they were just jokes. Come on. I'm a hugger. Come on. Yeah. Instead, it's more like that.
Yeah.
Which leans more towards your bullshitting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if this guy isn't guilty of anything, which again, I think he is, but if he isn't, man, is he doing a really shitty job of making the case for it. Yeah. I don't think he could do a worse job if he tried. So, but I still stand by my theory that him and his brother are just going to switch jobs. I think that's what the royalty Cuomos are going to do. I think he's just so my brother's gonna be governor, and I'm gonna be on CNN. Here's my first report: hugging. Why not? Forget about it. Second report: catcalling. It's okay sometimes. Am I right, ladies? Third report.
Well.
And then Fredo's like being governor, like, what, you have a problem with this policy? I'll throw your punk ass down the stairs. And it's like, why are they, Jesus, this family is something else. Holy shit.
That's what it's going to be. It's going to be Cuomo versus AOC for the governor of New York.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and